had some calls from the field saying that the Viper Shade film is a little bit more difficult to shrink than what you're normally used to working with. And what we're going to show you guys today is how to shrink this film. It's a little different than what you've been working with. The technique is a little different, but the end result's going to be the same. So we're going to go ahead and start on this one. We've already got the window tint pre-cut. I've got my center section locked down. As you can see, I have fingers in the film. And I'm going to go ahead and start shrinking. I got my heat gun here. We're going to work from the center outwards. You notice that I'm working in a circular motion, and I'm not just putting heat on the areas that are raised up. What I have seen a lot of guys do is they'll just put heat on the raised area and then flatten it out with a glove or whatever. Doesn't really work that well. Okay, this section looks pretty good. Now switch over to the other side, same thing. Work from my center outwards. Now, I'm not trying to make the window tint flat, I'm just trying to get it flattened down a little bit. I'm not trying to make it perfectly flat to the window. I think maybe some guys are maybe working too hard at it and trying to get it super flat, which is not the goal here. You notice I'm going across the bottom edge here. All that's doing is going to give me a nice final bottom edge. Stay away from your corners. Okay, now I'm going to start working on the top. Same thing up here. I want to make sure I don't have any fingers on my edges. Do the same thing up here. And you notice I had a bump right here. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side, do the same thing over there. Same thing as before. Make sure that my tint is floating on the glass. The key here is you're trying to shrink the whole piece of film. You're not just trying to get the one area where it's fingered up. You're trying to get the whole piece of film. So you got to go on both sides of where you're fingered up. Looks like it's done to me. Get my edge. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to wet squeegee it down. This is a crucial step because this is where we can see if we've missed anything or if we have any other areas we need to lay down. So this is very important. Start from my center. Kind of divide it into 4 sections. As you can see, it's all starting to lay down. This is one of the areas where you got to really take your time, because if you go too fast, you can actually catch the tint under here, increase it. If you need a little more moisture, no big deal. Okay, and as you can see, it's now squeegeed down, ready for application to the window. Alright, so in conclusion, as you can see, the window is pretty much ready to go. The tint can be peeled off and applied now. It took about 10 minutes. maybe a little longer than what you're used to, but if you notice the technique, it's a very repeatable technique, very simple. It does take a little more, a little more patience, a little more time, but overall the end result is worth it. And this was done using the Viper Shade film. This technique would apply to any of our films, the Ultra, the ceramic, even the security film. Just got to take your time and work with the film and be patient. That's one of the biggest things you got to have is patience.